Please be seated unless you're a kid, and then we have special chairs for you up front. We bought special pads for you to sit on the hard ground, but they didn't arrive yet, so much for FedEx. So come on up. PJ, Owen, anywhere you want. There's more chairs over here. There you go. We can kind of even it out. Okay. So I want you to think about a time when you got lost. Has everybody been, raise your hand if you've ever been lost. Everybody, raise your hand if you've ever been lost. Never? Wow. He's going to grow up to be a doctor. It turns out doctors never get lost, apparently. All the physicians in the congregation are never lost. Okay, what was it like to be lost? Scary. It's very scary to be lost. What else? Did somebody leave you somewhere? How else can you feel when you're lost? Lonely? What was that? Frustrated? Confused? Sad? Hopeless? Did everyone ever get mad when you're lost because somebody left you? Well, yeah, older siblings do it all the time. Older brothers and sisters do it to you. They ditch you. It's called ditching you, right? Okay, and now remember what it was like, all of you, because I'm sure all of you were lost at one point, when you were found. Were you found? Somebody find you? Okay, what was it like when you were found, Margot? You were mad when you were found? Why were you mad when you were found?
Because they left me.
Oh, they did leave you. Well, there you go. Well, we'll have to hear the whole story some other time. Okay, so you were mad that they left you. I remember that. Anyone else? How did you feel when you were found? Relieved? You were also mad when you were found? Anyone else? How were you when you were found? Do you remember? You were never lost. Okay, excellent. All right. So I remember one time I did get lost. And fortunately, my mother had told us, and this is because there's a famous story of my sister Chris getting lost at Disneyland, but I was kid number 4. I hadn't been lost yet. And my mother had said, if you ever get lost, don't move far away. Find an adult to help you. Don't move. Find a grown-up to help you. So it was the Christmas season, and I was one of 5 kids, and my mom took us all to a big new shopping mall with sparkly lights all over the place, and Christmas music playing, and we were in a toy store. There we were looking at toys. And I was at one aisle looking at some cool toy, and then I think it was just for a few seconds. I'm sure it was just for a few seconds. And all I know is when I looked up, my family was gone. My four sisters and brothers, and my mom were gone. And I got very scared, very scared. But I went to my mom said, look for a grown-up. So I went to the lady who was working at the cash register, where you go to pay for your toys. And I said to her, I'm lost. And she said, stay right here. And then I heard an announcement, lost child at KB Toys, lost child at KB Toys. And 1 minute later, here was my mother come rushing in, and guess what she did? She gave me a big hug. What did you think she was going to do, Dorothy? She gave me a big hug. I'm sure she was a little bit worried that I'd been lost, a little bit worried about how I would feel. And I did kind of think, did you leave me? What happened? How did you forget about me? Okay, so remember, when I was lost, I stayed where I was, and I asked for help. Now, I'll tell you another story. This is another thing you could do when you're lost. I was in England this summer, and I was in something called the Hampshire Forest. It's in the south of England. And it's a big forest, and apparently it's full of ponies and deer, and I didn't see very many ponies. I did see some deer. And my friend was supposed to come with me and show me how to use an English hiking guide, because it's not very easy to do. But she got a bad blister, so she said, you're going to have to go alone. Well, I did the first part of the hike alone. I hiked all the way to a restaurant, and I sat, and I looked at the guidebook, and it's not like where you go on a hike here where they say, take this trail to this famous rock and then turn around and come down the trail. It'll say something like, you will come upon a field and you will see oak trees to your left and a creek to your right. Look for a stile and climb over it. Well, what do you do when there's lots of oak trees and more than one creek and multiple stiles? So I got lost on the way back to where I was supposed to meet my friend. And it said, come to a gravel path, cross another gravel path, and turn left. Well, there was a gravel path, but the thing that went left didn't have gravel on it. So I went down it, and then I started getting into a place that didn't look anything like the Hampshire forest. So I got worried, and there was a bull, and I thought, I don't want to walk near the bull. So I walked back, and I said, well, maybe that wasn't the crossing. So I walked this way, and I walked for about a mile, and there was no gravel path. So I backtracked for a mile, and I finally said, this is too much walking around. And I got really worried. And then suddenly, some people riding bikes, some cyclists went past, and I said, aha, I bet they know where they're going. So I followed them, kind of jogging behind them, and then I saw that they kind of went on a big major path that was marked the something something bicycle trail. And I said, fine, I'm going to take that because that bicycle trail is taking me in this general direction, which is the way I need to go. So what did I do when I needed help? I followed people who knew where they were going. So, all of the stories that you heard today about the lost sheep and the lost coin are about being lost. But here's the interesting thing. And it's about our spiritual lives and on how we talk to God and whether we are in relationship with God, whether we know God. And the funny thing is we talk about us seeking God, like we're looking for God. But what the story says is that God is seeking us. That when we are lost, God says, oh no, I need to find that lost person. And God comes looking for you. In the same way my mother said, there's a lost child. Oh my God, number 4 is gone. And went running back to the toy store. That's how God reacts. So we think that there's something wrong when we're lost and we have to fix it. But it's just the opposite. It's God who says, something is wrong. Not something wrong with the sheep, just something happened to the sheep. Was looking at that patch of grass too long and didn't notice all the other sheep moved away. Went the wrong way and couldn't tell. Didn't mean to, got stuck. And God says, we have to go find that person. So it is God seeking us. You can't get lost because God is capable of anything, and God will always find you when you are lost. But when you're feeling lost, you feel like God's not hearing any of your prayers, what are the 2 things you can do? Find somebody, ask for help. Adults are good. Ask for help. Wait and ask for help. And what's the other thing you can do? Follow people who seem to know what they're doing. That's what we do when we're lost. And that's one of the things you can do at church. You can sit still and wait to be found and ask for help, tell somebody what's going on, and hang around people who are also on the same path because they'll show you the way to go. God will find us. Amen.